Welcome to Vinyl Verdict. I'm Bell.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Plouffe.
And this week it's my pick. Right off the bat, why don't you give us 5 stars? Why don't you leave us some feedback? If you're on Spotify, there's a little pop-up that comes up on the episode saying Q&A. What did you think? You can also give your vinyl verdict. Did you know that? You can give it a number out of 1 to 10. We're not doing 13 or whatever Plouffe rates out of.
I do 10.
All right,
Jamie's.
We do Plouffe's pick because it's the most in between Jamie and I's. I forgot I do Top Gear style.
Yeah.
Or just ranked. I guess you just ranked.
Ranked.
Top Gear doesn't need the free clout. Actually, future me bleep that. They don't need any free clout.
They don't need any free clout. Well,
This
they
episode's
don't. Are they even on the air anymore?
The one with Joey might be.
I don't think it's on it anymore.
Yeah, didn't they change like the whole cast, and then now it's like Clarkson's Adventure or something?
What? No.
Clarkson's Farm?
It's called the Grand Tour, and now he's got a farm.
What happened after he got fired?
Well, this episode is "This Ain't the Way You Go Out" by Lucy Rose. Sorry to cut you off with all that fun sponsored Amazon talk on whatever that show was that I bleeped out earlier. Lucy Rose, man, I've been following Lucy Rose at least loosely for around 11 years now after stumbling across a video of her performing her song Shiver on BBC Radio 1. I assume it's a binaural recording, and I think I was like in a binaural phase, as well as like, what is that, E-doping or whatever that was, where you'd like listen to sounds and it was supposed to make you feel like you're on shrooms and stuff like that.
E-doping?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there was like the virtual haircut thing at one point in time too. Remember that?
Yeah, binaural, but that's not e-doping. But look it up if you want to see some cool internet history, what people thought would make you high back in the day. But weirdly enough, I have a really vivid memory of the first time hearing her on a different live performance of hers, of where she's playing the song Shiver again, but in a random park, and she's wearing a red cardigan. I could not find the video. So if someone finds it, she's just like in a park in a random place in the UK, wearing a red cardigan, playing Shiver, send it to me because I feel like I'm gaslighting myself. But it's such an intense memory. But Lucy is a British singer-songwriter from Surrey.
UK?
England.
Yeah, not ours.
England.
Not the Surrey that Jamie lives in. She has self-taught herself drums and piano back in elementary school, but ended up self-teaching guitar and started writing music at 16 years old. And she's been doing it ever since.
Crazy.
Wow, good for her.
Insane. How people do. I mean, I taught myself guitar, so. You guys aren't as impressed?
No.
I said good for her. You know.
What about good for me?
No.
No.
All right. Well, this ain't the way you go out.
I've never heard you play guitar. I don't know if you're any good. I'm not gonna.
Well, here's Wonderwall.
Anyway.
This Ain't the Way You Go Out is her 5th and latest album, which released just about a month ago on April 19th, 2024. And I was really looking forward to this album's release. Like, I was following the singles. I don't really know how it got into my world. I think I just like showed up in my recommended on YouTube or something like that. And I listened to the first couple singles and I was like, this is so good. I hadn't really listened to her other than a couple songs here and there since listening to Shiver all the way back then. But Shiver was the song that made me start learning guitar. So I kind of like always had always had a spot in my musical heart. This time around though, I got suggested the song back in November. I had to painfully wait for it to release until April. But the worst thing for her, at least I'm sure, is that it was unintentionally released on the same day as Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift,
Good luck,
which could not have helped with advertising or getting any sort of wavelengths out on Twitter or anything like that when Taylor Swift drops an album that day. But Lucy is definitely a smaller artist than T Swift, and I felt the pain trying to even get the album here in Canada because you had to like get it imported. I couldn't find it in any record store. Even when I first ordered it, it never showed up for a long time. I got a refund and I reordered it, and then the first one did show up, and it's a whole thing. But I think it's great. I love this album. Do you guys have any kind of initial thoughts?
I'd never heard of her before. But you know, that's not really surprising. There's a lot of things I haven't heard of.
It's true.
Yeah. But I thought the we're all having trouble today.
Mm-hmm.
Instrumentation and the vocals are actually really good on this album. Like it is like it's piano driven for a lot of it. I thought that was pretty interesting. And it has kind of like a bouncy jazzy feel to some of it. She has a beautiful voice, and you know, in spite of all that, I don't think it's for me. I liked listening to it, but I don't. It's definitely not something I would listen to had you not asked me to.
And I'm gonna continue to ask you.
Oh,
like, James,
not
put
again.
that on.
It's got a gun.
What do you think, Plouffe?
I'm pretty mixed on it. I really liked some songs, but then I mean, this has been kind of a trope for a lot of piano albums. I just don't like piano songs all that much. So I found
That's why
the
you
ones
hate
that
Billy
are
Joel.
very piano driven, 100%. Yeah. Well,
He is the piano man.
as
Sing me the song.
anytime it was a song that was super piano driven, I would just like, I'd get bored and I'd tune out a bit. She has a very good voice.
Yes.
And yeah, the instrumentation was all great. If she's doing that all herself, then yeah, kudos to her. But then it's like half the songs I was really into, and then the other half I just like did not care for at all. But the nice thing is everything was like 3.5 minutes or less. There's only like 1 4-minute song. So
This whole album's like 35 minutes long.
I think the whole thing is well produced, and I think she chose the right songs for this album because like I can appreciate it. It's just, yeah, it's not for me. I would handpick a few songs, but I probably wouldn't play the whole thing all the way through.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I kind of skipped over it, but this album was written after Lucy gave birth to her first child, and the album's about the experience about how she developed pregnancy-associated osteoporosis, and she ended up
Crazy.
breaking
Wild, eh?
8 vertebrae in her back, which is a crazy new fear.
That's
if
a
I
lot
could
of
give
vertebrae.
birth, that would be a major fear for me. But she was only 31 years old, like around there.
Wow.
So it's crazy to have gone through all that at
Yeah.
such a young age.
Yeah, and
Thankfully, she survived, and her son survived, and she's pregnant again. So
Yeah, and
Roll the dice.
And the doctors basically said, go home. There's nothing wrong with you.
yeah, none of them believed her, and that even comes up in some of the songs where it's
Wow.
like,
Typical doctor dealing with women.
Yeah, so the album's pretty well acclaimed everywhere. Everywhere I found that review it gave it
Even-
near perfect scores.
Even
Pitchfork 7.2. That's pretty much a 10 for any normal
might as well
reviewer. Which is funny. I was reading the review for Pitchfork. I was like 7.2. I'm really interested. It's all absolutely glowing,
And then it's
it's
only
just
7.2.
That's why I'm like, it's pretty much a 10.
I don't get it. Because then there's been other reviews where I've picked a couple albums and they've got like a 7 out of 10. And they're like, yeah, it's okay. Or like, it's got a few good songs or
It's
whatever.
like, it's a beautiful exploration of this pain she was going
Jesus.
through, and it really teleports you into where her head was at. 7.2 out of 10.
6.8.
I don't like being in that headspace, I guess is maybe the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously with my last couple choices, like this kind of follows Kings of Convenience. Like it is a more vibey album. And a lot of time when I'm listening, there's a couple songs I listen to on their own, like Could You Help Me or The Racket, where it's, they're more fast kind of poppy songs. But when I listen to this album, a lot of time I do just put it on start to end. I listen to the whole thing as kind of like a background or a way to just relax when I'm hanging out at home. But I can see why, if you don't like piano or you don't like this kind of vibe, it does stay kind of one note. And though I appreciate it, I could see why others might not. Even a lot of the piano tones, it's very clear, or at least it seems like she's playing on the same piano. Like even the tones coming out of it are the same kind of warmth that it's like, oh, she's just sitting down.
I believe that the notes on it said that it was recorded over the same 2-day period.
Oh,
cool.
wow.
Yeah, good for
That's
her.
really cool.
So the whole album, yeah, it sounds like the same piano because it is, right? So,
You tell me they didn't switch the piano like 4 times?
I mean,
in
you
2
can,
days?
right?
You could.
They'd have different sounds, or if you're using a synth, they'll have
Yeah.
different sounds.
Or if
But
you're at a studio that just has a ton of different instruments.
yeah, Jamie, you think about that?
no.
Yeah, it's
did
quite
not.
different from what I'd listened to previously from her, and I kind of liked the more produced vibe. And again, following our last episode on Cowboy Carter, where again that production was so high, I felt like this is kind of a neat follow-up to that, where it's like very high production but still indie production.
Yeah.
There's a lot of I think I have the word ethereal like 4 or 5 times, where it's like
Yeah.
these voices
Yeah,
vocalizing,
that's a good way of
and
describing
I
it.
wrote it once or
instruments
twice.
and strings coming in. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is really different from the stuff I listened to 12 years ago, 11 years ago.
Yeah. Light and airy.
hmm
It's
Yes, I've used the word ethereal a number of times in my notes.
hmm Ghastly, really.
Gas, ghostly.
Well, why don't we just dive right into it then?
sure. Let's listen to it one more time.
Light as grass. I like the start to this album with the bouncing piano riff. I think it fits the lyrics about discomfort because they before they lift up into being this more ethereal, because like the bouncing, I don't know, it's just so short. It kind of feels like a depiction of anxiety or like that being on edge that I enjoy.
Yeah.
I described it as Starbucks piano jazz.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
I really like the chorus. I thought the synths or whatever's making the light spacey sounds was pretty great. Yeah, she has a nice voice. I really like the pace. It's got really good light drums, and I like the bit of flute that's at the end.
I have that as well. There's some tasteful flutes in there. And yeah, I again, the production value shows off in that chorus with things panning and swirling around, and the multiple instruments as it then breaks back down to just the piano and light drums.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Spotify or the way I was listening to it, because I listened to it on my computer yesterday, but the instrumentation about halfway through or in the latter half of the song feels like it's trying to drown out her voice.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Which I thought was weird because her voice is like the thing you're coming here for, right? Like you're not.
It's the main.
Here,
It's
the main draw, right?
Yeah, they might be a little bit more forward, and maybe that's what causes it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's again during that chorus where maybe it's supposed to be this like overwhelming sensation, or feeling surrounded by whatever's going on, and that's kind of my complaint or my only observation of the lyrics of this song is like they're pretty vague. It's enough where it flows well, but I don't know what it's trying to depict. It's like, I saw you float above me and then crash to the ground, and I was like, okay,
Crazy.
sure.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, and it's about 4 minutes long, or it gets close to there. It didn't feel super long to me, but maybe it's just because the chorus only comes twice, so things kind of move forward pretty quickly. Like
The pacing
again,
of the song is fine. Yeah.
yeah, Kings of Convenience, where a lot of them have one chorus, so it just kind of feels like it just kind of ends.
Yeah.
But I think it suits well. After that is Could You Help Me? This is it's a little banger.
Yeah,
this one.
This one's really good. I'm not crazy about the backing vocals, but I think otherwise it's a really good song. I really liked the guitar solo just over halfway through.
Yeah, is it a guitar solo?
I don't know. I thought it was a guitar solo.
I wrote guitar question mark. It's around like a minute and a half, right?
Yeah, and it sticks around longer than I expected it to as well.
Yeah. It's either
It's
a
crunchy.
weird synth or like a electric piano or something. I don't know.
Electric piano.
Electric piano?
Wurlitzer.
No, it's definitely not a Wurlitzer, but
I'm going to credit it as guitar.
Yeah, I think it's
I believe in the music video she is playing guitar. I can't quite remember.
It's a hurdy-gurdy.
A hurdy-gurdy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the quick jazzy beat with the steep drums, and the piano gets faster and faster. The sound coming out of the sustained piano chords and the chorus is also just so good. It's like you can hear every key she's pressing. And I appreciate the backing vocals, but they're a little odd. At one point I was like, I like how there's male background vocals because that doesn't happen often. But then I was like, is it, or is it just distorted?
Yeah, they were just weird. I didn't think they were bad. I just really didn't think I like them very much.
The band is definitely mic'd up like it's a jazz, jazz session. So, for example, think about when we were listening to the Miles Davis record, how it felt like you were like listening to the guy pluck the strings on the upright bass. It sounds like that with the piano. It's really kind of interesting.
Yeah, and lyrically, this is the one that's about her fighting through every day due to her illness, but when asking for medical help, she's getting dismissed and isn't being made a priority.
She's just hysterical. That's it, That's
Women, am I right?
In the 50s. Oh, God.
Classic. Dusty Frames, the first sad song. This is like a classic Lucy Rose. It's just her and her piano, vocals of the shining star. There's some very light bass in the background to add some extra presence, but I like that it just stays as like a warm tone to kind of fill out behind the piano.
I wrote that it's vocal heavy, which is good because her voice is nice.
It almost feels like a musical song though, where it's so vocal heavy.
Yeah, that it's like a musical.
You mean like the person is like singing to the audience?
Yeah.
Like it's a like soliloquy or whatever?
Yeah, it's like it's like a poem almost. But I don't mind necessarily.
Yeah, this one I was pretty bored with. I just don't like piano and singing that much, but I did like the tad bit of instrumentation, like that bass at the end. But it's very minimal. She has a nice voice. She does. But
yeah, the lyrics are obviously very pronounced in this song, and they're pretty down. There's mentions of how she wished the past could be different, and I'm not sure if she's trying to talk about how someone actually just left, or if they lost their life, or if it's like maybe she misses the person that she was. Especially the line, "Now the rain has come, but not enough to wash away your sins, they'll stay." It just paints a very dark picture, but I don't know if it goes quite descriptive enough to make it impact me, because it's like vague posting on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't connect with it.
It's like, okay, this person's having a hard time, but like, okay. They do brighten up a bit at the end with her talking about how, though a hard world isn't one you want to live in, you can be the one to change it, and your children can change it by bringing in love where there's hate, which I think is a good message. But again, when you don't really know what the initial message is, it's hard to like be inspired by the ending part. It's not bad. I think it fits the tone of the album. I don't know if I would place it here necessarily, but it's only 2.5 minutes long, so it makes its point and then kind of ends.
Yeah,
this one does feel a little bit longer at 2.5 minutes, though, even compared to the ones that are 3.5 minutes or more.
Yeah, and she has a couple interludes on this record too.
Mm-hmm.
Like this could have totally just been like a 1.5-minute interlude, just cut out almost half of it. And, well, whatever.
After this is Whatever You Want. I think it flows pretty well with the last song.
I agree. I wrote it transitions very nicely into this one from Dusty Frames. It starts simple, but I think even just having the bass present at the start helps a lot. And then the drums come in less than a minute to show up, and
it's so much more hopeful.
Yeah, it gets amped up for the outro, which was very good. Another good song. I'm very back and forth on this whole album. It just goes up and down, and like that can really work on a lot of albums, and I think it even works here on this album. I'm just not crazy about the more down, lighter songs. So
yeah, I like that it's so hopeful right off the bat with that light piano, and then the drums join and more and more joins throughout the song, which is a trope, but I enjoy it a lot.
It's a good trope.
Yeah,
it works.
There's a reason why people use it. And the song starts with a pretty direct reference to her troubles at birth with the line, "How can something like this happen to me? A miracle, a disaster, all in one fell swoop."
Hell yeah.
But she stays positive with the line, "Something came from nothing and you changed my life," which again is, I think, a very, very cute way to look at childbirth. And again, the lyrics also get more and more positive throughout the whole song, with the first lines being almost defeated, about releasing that her true love and friendship and how strong she can be for her new son. And again, everything building up with that, with the quiet piano and bass to the drums to a string section, and again the ethereal voices along for the final chorus. I think that if I didn't know the story behind the album beforehand, some of these moments wouldn't hit as hard. But because I knew the context of, having this life-changing illness, it's like, oh, the lyrics impact me a bit more.
Yeah. Without the backstory, because I assume the liner notes don't have any, like, hey, all this bad stuff happened to me in the, like, because why would you put that on there? But without the context, it's just a kind of like a, I don't want to use disjointed. I don't know how to describe it. It needs those contextual clues. Yeah.
Any other thoughts, Jamie?
No, I just like the ethereal end to it. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that was a song about her son, though.
After that is Interlude 1. It's a 1.5-minute little jazz interlude. Yeah. Some strings come in halfway through.
A little jazzy interlude.
I'm not sure I would expect an interlude here.
Really?
There isn't
I didn't expect an interlude at all.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really nice way to change the music, because the next song is like pretty different.
I'd almost want to do a count on how many records we've covered that have an interlude on them.
I love interludes.
It's more often than not this season.
It's pretty frequent.
See, I felt there wasn't a huge tone shift between Whatever You Want and the next song. It does speed things up.
Yeah.
But I like it. Like, it's cool. It's kind of wavy. It feels like a gust of wind or something like that. Like, it's very swirling sound. The strings are really pretty, but I was just like, okay, like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I don't like, if this had been Dusty Frames to Life's Too Short, I'd be like, yeah, I want an interlude there. Yeah. But I feel like Whatever You Want kind of is a nice little ramp up for the next song.
I'll say this, spoiler, I like Interlude 1 a lot more than I like Interlude 2.
You're psychotic. You are
what?
Psychotic. We'll get to why, but
okay.
This guy has no feelings. Life's Too Short. Another kind of poppy song.
Yeah, I like the plodding bass. The lyrics are okay. Despite the faster beat, though, I kind of got bored again. The horns were a really nice touch.
It's got sneaky little background voices in it.
Yeah.
Well, they're there. But the sneaky...
The song has a random S-bomb in the second verse. I was like, what? Why? Oh. I was like, I guess you got to let that stuff out. But I was like, that's random. There's a little... I like the horns as well. And the little glockenspiel in the third verse.
The whole song feels bouncy.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a goofy, silly song. Talking about how life's too short. You got to, like, let stuff go, move on. And this matches that tone. I don't know if it's great.
It's okay.
Again, I don't know if this is where I would put it. But it's fine. Sometimes you want your album to be 36 minutes.
Yeah.
You got to add a
I-
little goofy little song.
I love it when albums are 36 minutes. 36,
Yeah.
45. It's a great length.
And you love being goofy.
I like
do.
that we're in a period of time where we don't have to fill an entire CD.
to
Mhm.
sell it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like 74
not
minutes of
getting-
music is too long.
I'm not getting enough. Yeah, at that point, like cut songs. Like clearly, you're just adding stuff that shouldn't have made the album.
Yeah.
Like it's very rare that someone can put out an entire cohesive album that is over an hour that is still like 10 out of 10 or even 8 out of 10.
Very rarely. Yeah.
Like you probably have too many songs there, and you should have cut at least 2.
I'll just say it. Stadium Arcadium is too long.
That's I don't know.
It's too long.
That's such a long album.
They're all really good songs though.
It's too long.
Name a bad one.
Even the bad one. Yeah. I don't
Okay, all right.
Well, This Ain't the Way You Go Out is the next song. And it's another song that pretty directly represents her time in the hospital with lyrics about how she lost control of her body, but how she was able to pull through it when someone told her, this ain't the way you go out. You're not gonna die here. This ain't the way you go out.
I lost attention during this one, but then I don't know if it was like super light snare or cymbals, but I really like how the drums kind of sound like rain.
Yeah, they have like
I
the little
also
duster
wrote
things.
that.
Yeah, I wasn't
too.
sure what they're using, but yeah, they could have been using
I
the
thought
brushes. I don't
brushes,
know.
yes.
Yeah.
but
Brush drum. Yeah.
I don't know. But I really
a
liked
rain
that.
stick.
No, I don't think it's a rain stick, but yeah, that kind of pulled me back and made me listen to the song again.
Yeah.
I'm still not crazy about it, but I really liked.
I
what they were
wrote
doing
that
with drums.
the drums are tasteful.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really like this one. Again, I think it's very emotional, and I just love that last outro verse where
Yeah, the
kind of everything breaks
vocalizing.
down. She goes to a
Yeah.
really high pitched voice or notes, and talks about how someone came through, pulled her out by saying, "This ain't the way you go out."
yeah.
It's just very pretty.
Yeah, she has a very pretty voice. She's basically solo around 2 minutes, and it's great. The lyrics and the vocalizing near the end are all fantastic. It's a good song.
Amen, brother.
Yeah,
Then it's Over When It's Over.
this one's really good.
I also really like this one. It's
up-
really grown on me the last
Very
couple
upbeat.
weeks.
Yeah.
Very upbeat.
This is probably my favorite song on the album. I like the sparsely used backing vocals.
Mm-hmm.
It's got really fun drums and piano. It's got a good chorus. I like the woodwinds. It's just best song on the album for me. I
It's
like
got a
I like how much
sneak-
more energy it has.
It's got a sneaky little synth in it. There's a
Yeah.
sneaky little synth in there. I
Got a
like it.
little like harpsichord or something as well, like
Yeah.
very light strings. It's very, very pretty.
Yeah.
It's a song about how hard things were when her husband and her were going through all the pressures of having the child and this illness, but realizing they aren't calling it quits. You know,
Yeah.
no matter how hard it gets, they're sticking together.
Don't
It's a great
do that.
message, and the instrumentation really matches it with a victory march beat that's super bright and summery. The only thing I would have changed is instead of the female background vocals, is having it be a male to really signify the two of them deciding that
Sure.
it isn't over when they're over.
Yeah,
Um,
I still really liked the backing vocals, but yeah, they could do it with the guy instead, and it would fit.
Yeah, and the bass work deserves some shout out.
Yeah.
Very good. Very
Sure.
prominent in this one without being repetitive, overbearing. And there's some funky synths, more flute.
Yeah.
Banger. I don't have a lot to say, but I think it's a lot of fun and it's worth a listen. Worth a listen. Then Sail Away.
Come
Sail away.
Come sail away.
It's not that
It's
song.
not that song,
No.
yeah.
I'm a big fan of this song.
Yeah.
It really snuck up on me,
Sure.
and I was like, this is the first time I listened to the album, I immediately put this one on again. I was like, this is good. Got my head banging. I think this really slow buildup of nothing,
Yeah.
just some piano kind of fading in really helped.
It's really fun. It's a different pace, more hurried and kind of like full of intent. The drums were almost jungly,
Mhm.
some jungle drums. I really like this one too. This is probably my second favorite on the whole album.
Yeah, my only issue is that maybe I think it could have gone before Over When It's Over.
Yeah.
Sure.
Since this one has a vibe of like a standoff in a relationship
Yeah.
before the acceptance are going to fight through together, especially with the lines, say what you want and I'll sail away and I won't be going nowhere because this love never ends. So it's kind of like, again, you're battling against each other a bit. And that's kind of how it feels as things get more intense as things are going, or the song continues on.
Yeah.
And the piano is getting louder and louder as each line is being sung, and it's being sung longer and drawn out. To where at the very, or close to the end of the song, the vocals are deep in the booming instrumentation as she repeats "Sail Away" as it kind of like fades in and
Yeah.
out. Really, really like this one. Guess what? There's some ethereal voices in this one.
A little bit.
Hmm
But
A little bit of ethereal.
We'll totally put an ethereal counter. It'll ding every time someone says ethereal.
As Plouffe is editing this episode.
Yeah, he's not editing.
Jimmy,
Yes.
what do you think?
I liked it. I like how the pace picks up around minute 20 or so. I thought the instrumentation is very good on this one. The ethereal voices add something to it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a good song. You're right though. The ordering is kind of strange, but
Mhm.
what can you do?
Now we have Heartless Plouffe explain why he doesn't like Interlude 2.
I don't like the baby noises.
It's so cute.
I'm listening to a music album. I don't want to hear random baby noises.
It's relevant to the.
I don't care.
to the
I had
topic
the
of the
same.
album.
I had the same problem with the Beyonce album where her kid is like introing a song or doing an interlude. I can't remember.
He's so brave. He
I-
didn't say that during the
He's
actual
a
episode.
children should be seen and not
I
heard.
just
Even the
forgot
baby
about
kind
it.
of sounds like it's cooing "I love you" at the end. I was like, oh my god, my heart's like, oh wow. I
You
was
know,
like, oh.
it's a great thing that I'm just going to be child free, and that's great.
Oh, this guy's r/child free over here.
I don't like the baby noises. I don't want them on my record. I guess that it fits here on this album, but this isn't the album for me, so that's fine.
Plus, the interlude makes sense because it's such an intense song.
Sure.
You go through all this trouble, heartache, you finally give birth. I was like, oh.
Sure.
It's just Lucy, piano, some light drums, an egg shaker, Otis cooing. Otis cooing. Adorable.
Yeah.
Jamie, you're the tiebreaker.
I don't hate kids.
But do you hate
this
interlude?
No, I think it's fun.
All right, I'll take it. That's a big dub for me. After that,
No more,
man. I think of all of the songs of the album, this one's my least favorite.
Oh, really?
I don't mind it. It just follows an intense song and is followed by an intense song. So, like, I get that we did the interlude to slow things down, but the racket that follows this is also very, very fast. So it's like, okay.
I like the heartbeat drums, like the they do 2 and 2. Like, that's fine.
That's what it is. It's a heartbeat.
Yeah, they do 2 and 2 there, and it's like, I think it's, it's trying to come with the whole baby thing, and giving birth. But yeah, it's kind of boring. Like, the piano's really nice, but it's very subdued, more of an accent more than anything else.
Yeah, it has very minimal backing on this.
Yeah,
track,
so like, I don't know. As much as it's only a 36-minute album, I totally could have done with just cutting this one.
Yeah, I would have put this before This Ain't the Way You Go Out, and I would have put Sail Away before that as well. Like, I would have changed up the order quite a bit, but
yeah.
Again, I feel like in the digital age, most people aren't listening front to back. And as somebody who obviously really likes the album and is listening to it front to back, you notice those things. But the song is about suffering in silence and how hard it can be to open up or reach out. And when someone doesn't reach out, even though you haven't, it still leaves you feeling uncared for. You know? Especially with her being in a hospital, I'm sure, for a long time. The people that did not reach out, I'm sure that hurt to experience. Jamie, you know how that feels.
No.
Jamie's got so many friends.
He doesn't want to talk about
it.
I'm sorry.
They're all sitting in my living room.
All of them.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Do you have any thoughts?
Don't leave. No. I like that it has minimal backing. I think it adds to the track because the lack of backing really adds to the thought that she felt alone, or the character in the song, I guess, felt alone. And like not cared for or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like I like this better than the way Dusty Frames is done.
Sure. Yeah, that's
like
a good point.
There's enough backing that it doesn't feel a little, I don't want to say cheesy, but it just feels too produced or like too.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like an Adele
focused.
song.
Yeah.
And
then we get the final track, and I think it's another banger.
Yeah, this one's
the
great.
Racket.
Yeah.
The Racket.
It's got a slow but funky bass. It's got tight drums.
Oh, it's got a funky bass. My God.
And then it gets loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a great end to the album with a final thank you to her husband and the other people who are around her. Super fun. The production, again, is up a whole other notch with layers of instruments that build on top, with verses and choruses that only immediately get stripped away for the bridge at 2:10 as things start cutting out and banging hard.
Yeah.
Man, it's fire.
Yeah, the vocal layering was good. The chorus is great, especially when it's got that bit of the guitar that comes in. I think that this is probably the best song on the album. I know the other one was my favorite, but this is probably the best one.
I don't know if it's the best one.
What? Really?
I'd be up there.
It's enjoyable, yeah.
Which one's better?
The one, I don't know, maybe Life's Too Short.
Interesting.
It's a tough one.
I think this one has like the highest production quality. Like,
sure,
so much
sure,
going on,
I'll agree with that.
and it kind of hits a bunch of different areas. I think this is probably the best as well. I don't know if it's the one I would go to listen to because, like Plouffe had said, it's maybe not my favorite.
but
Sure.
it's
but I do
probably
think
the
it is
best.
the
Yeah, it's like the best song on the album, probably.
Also, fire music video. Really
Oh,
good
is
music
it?
video.
Oh, okay.
Very cool.
You know, we often talk about music videos, or I at least bring them up, but like
Yeah, I
I
bring
don't think
them up
I've ever
sometimes,
sat down and watched.
I feel like we all watch our
What?
own
Yeah,
music videos for like our own choices, but we
yeah,
don't
I
watch
don't
each
think
other's.
For a lot of Plouffes, or like I've watched the one for Sex and Candy because I remember watching that one.
Yeah, on MTV.
Or
Much Music.
Much Music, sir.
Yeah.
MTV, one of my wealthy.
Yeah, cable only.
Yeah, basic cable, sir.
I forgot about
Jeez.
that.
Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. It's a good end to the album.
I like when it ends really abruptly too.
Yeah,
It's like
sure.
dome.
Yeah.
And then you get a final
Yeah.
end. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's over.
sure,
it's really
absolutely.
good.
Well,
36 minutes later.
all right. Let's talk about the record itself. I got this today, which is crazy. So I'm seeing this for the first time. But at the top it says "This Ain't the Way You Go Out" by Lucy Rose. Has some credits as well. I'm guessing the people who worked on the album, as well as her son, Otis. And it's a picture of her in a dark navy room wearing a dark navy sweater. She's being lit from, I would say, 3/4 on the right side of her face. She's got her hand
Yeah.
up. There's some smoke. It's very ethereal.
Smoke on the
Very
wire.
ethereal. You can see it if you're on Spotify. You can see it on the screen on this video
Oh,
podcast.
look at
That's
that.
wild.
On the
I
back,
can see it now because I'm in my living room.
it's like just a milky, no, it's like an ivory white. It says "This Ain't the Way You Go Out" by Lucy Rose on the top right. Has all the track listings as well as what side and the song length, and that is it. There's nothing else. There's nothing inside. The inside is a nice blue. It's like a, what would you say, kind of blue that is? Like a violet blue.
It's hard to see.
He's blind. It's like Plouffe's jacket or
Yeah,
plaid shirt
everyone Plouffe's wearing a sweater.
Yeah, that's
It's
more
like a creamy blue.
That's more like lavender. I don't know if
Sure,
I'd
it's a
even
light
call
lavender.
that blue. It's a light. It's like a pastel lavender. Yeah,
sorry, I guess I'm dumb.
you're just wrong.
And then on the
Okay.
sleeve for the record, we have all the lyrics for the songs, as well as some credits for each song as well. And on the other side, it's a smoky room. There's a hand. And there's just all of Lucy kind of there. It's very hard to see. She's a silhouette in the smoke.
Oh,
and
cool.
the labels have the songs for each side on each label.
Always
so the A side has
nice.
A's, as well as the song lengths and everything like that. So for this copy, I paid about $40, including shipping from
Oof.
eBay.
That's
And
not
then it never
bad,
arrived.
including shipping. I mean,
Yeah, for a brand new record.
Mm.
It never arrived. I
do
reported
not
it.
buy new records, Jamie.
Yeah, not often.
It's like $40 without shipping is like honestly
Yeah.
typical
Only buy 'em on
Canadian.
Pro-
I would say this
Only
is
on
enough
Prime.
that I'd be like, okay. Anything more than that, I'd be like, no. But it never arrived, and it's a scheduled time. We took all these notes. I was like, I guess we're
I
gonna have
hope
to
it shows
postpone this
up.
episode. Showed up today, which is lucky. But I got my money back because of that. I did end up rebuying it though, because I was like, well, I want this album. So I had to order it from a UK record store and like get it shipped and imported over here. It cost me around $65 shipped, so that's
Yeah,
quite a
whatever.
bit. But it's gonna be a signed copy,
Cool.
which will be dope. And half of that was shipping. So classic UK. I hope I don't have to pay import on that.
Oh yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you did. Like
yeah.
another $5 or $10.
Disclosure all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have to pay import on that one. It just
My
was expensive.
You just
my
got
only
hosed, yeah.
issue is I really wish this was colored vinyl, and I wish it was the same lavender.
Well, there is a colored vinyl version.
What color is it?
It's blue and got stuff in it.
Ethereal.
All
It's
right,
very
sure.
ethereal, but it's part of. It's called the Dinked edition. It has
The
a different.
dinked.
Yeah, apparently that's a thing in the UK. There's like I don't know what it is,
But she's not. She has a kid. She's not double income, no kids.
classic.
Wow.
But it has a different cover, and then has this different vinyl.
Whoa.
There was only like 250 copies, something like that, only at certain record
Oh, that's
stores.
very exclusive.
I couldn't get it because I don't live in the UK. Sucks to be me.
250 is very limited. Usually
Yeah.
it's like 500 to 1,000.
It might have
for a
been
limited
more,
run.
but I feel like it was quite
Yeah.
limited. Maybe it was 1,000. Who knows?
I mean 250 happens, but that's rare.
Either way, I'm very sad because I really like this album and it was very hard to get. But I will save my vinyl verdict because I want to know yours, Jamie. What's your vinyl verdict?
I appreciated what she was trying to do with the album. I appreciated the instrumentation, but overall, it wasn't really for me. It's not really the kind of music I listen to. But maybe I don't have to rate it like it's like an album that I would. Maybe I just rate it for, like on the artist's intent. I don't know.
Whatever you'd like to do.
As a my rating's kind of arbitrary anyway, but as an album that I would own in my collection, I probably rate it at like maybe like an 8 out of 13, which is like a low 70 or something like that. But as a work of like production, I probably rate it more like a 10. So like her effort is worth like a 10 out of 13, but my enjoyment is more like an 8 out of 13. So anyway,
You appreciate that. What about you, Plouffe?
You know, Spotify only has a few songs on this album that are at or over like 200,000 plays. Light as Grass, Could You Help Me, Whatever You Want, Over When It's Over, and The Racket. And I kind of agree entirely with how those plays have been distributed, as these are the very clear standout songs on the album, at least to me. I think they're fun and engaging or more thoughtful than the rest, which is then mostly slow or sad piano songs. And it made it very hard to rate this because like about 40% of the album is really, really good, like 9 out of 10 territory, but then the rest I really don't like. It's not bad, it's just also not for me, and I just really can't stand that one interlude. So I kept flip-flopping. I've changed this score so many times. I'm going to come down a little extra harsh and give it like a 6.5. I'd 100% pick songs for playlist from here, but I wouldn't buy this album and I wouldn't play the whole thing through for myself or for others. It's like the few tracks that I really like them. They're like 9s for sure, but then the rest is just really not for me.
Just an update. There are 2 limited editions for this record.
Whoa.
There's the
Jamie's
one
really
with the
actioning me.
Lavender copy?
No. So there's the one with the standard cover like you have. And that one is limited edition, but it's sky blue transparent vinyl.
That's cool.
And then the one with the altered cover is white, blue, and purple starburst vinyl.
That's wild.
And there you go.
Sure.
And there's your fact check for the day.
Well, I would say it's a fact check, but
Whatever.
I wasn't wrong.
Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah.
Well, mine. I love this album, obviously. It's a tight 36 minutes that explores different aspects of an extremely challenging situation that made me feel that the pain that she was going through, even though it's something that I will never experience, I guess, thankfully. Bouncing between bright pop songs to dance in the kitchen to and slow, sad ballads that tug on your heartstrings felt surprisingly right, and there isn't much I'd change about this album other than maybe making it longer since I want more. And maybe changing the order a little bit, but whatever. I'm putting this album in the 5th spot.
Wow.
Above Evil Urges by My Morning Jacket and below Peace or Love by Kings of Convenience.
I thought you were going to put it at number 1.
No.
No?
No, there's some good record packages, you know? This is just a record.
Yeah, that's legit.
Plus, Mike, I didn't mention it, but there's a freaking big crease in the top left corner.
Oh.
Big sad. Oh, yeah, and there's a dent in the bottom left as well.
Crunched.
So shout out to that bad eBay seller. I can't wait to get my signed copy. I will frame it. I think that if you don't check out this album, you're missing something great. Put it on and relax in the sun on your balcony or in a park and let it wash over you. And maybe check out the music videos. They're pretty cool too. What are we listening to next week, Jamie?
We're listening to Buddy Guy.
This is
Buddy Guy.
Guys, I've never heard of Buddy Guy before.
Buddy Guy.
Buddy
Guy's a Chicago blues musician.
I'm not sure. Buddy Guy.
Yeah, no, that's that guy. No, he is your buddy guy.
This is Buddy Guy.
Yeah, this is your buddy guy.
Yeah.
Buddy Guy. Well, that's crazy. Let's talk some aftercare. What have you guys been listening to this week?
Geez, that's a good question.
I've been listening to a lot of weird horn stuff like Too Many Zoos and Thunder Smack, and I've been very much enjoying it.
Oh, I listened to a bunch of Carly Simon. Carly Simon's like a singer-songwriter from the 70s. She does that song "You're So Vain."
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I didn't listen to that album. I listened to her previous album, which is called Anticipation. It's really good.
Anticipation.
Yeah, it's making me wait. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It was written during a period where she was dating Cat Stevens, so you can kind of hear some like of his influence on her music. So it's kind of interesting. It's a good album.
I haven't been listening to a ton. It's pretty much just been Lucy Rose and Kings of Convenience because we're finally getting some sunny weather here in Vancouver.
Beautiful.
But I did create a playlist with all my Shazams, and I've been going through those, and I'm like, man, Instagram Reels can present some good music because I have it set up where I can push a button on my iPhone and it just starts Shazamming. And because I've been listening to a lot of Remy Wolf lately, kind of reminded me that she's really good. Back to what's his face? Rex Orange County. Also very good. It's kind of the right time of year, but I don't think there's anything in particular. Just ready for the friggin' summer, man. Bring
Brother.
it on.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue listening to Lucy Rose, except for next week when we listen to Buddy Guy. So make sure to tune in for that. Rate it as 5 stars. Share your final verdict.
This is Buddy Guy.
No. This is Lucy Rose. And this is final verdict.
For every 5 stars we get, Plouffe gets 1 inch taller.
It's
That's
true.
not true.
It's true.
He loses 4 inches of hair too.
It's true. It's true.
Damn.
They